Hey, welcome to another Ego on Break. Kind of surprised this guy. So he was asking what the topic was be, and so I'm just going to spring it on him. The topic is going to be getting into professional wrestling, like how you got started, first memories, just conversation more or less about about wrestling. Like we kind of broke in together more or less. You started a little before me. You actually got me involved.
Yeah.
So go ahead and just tell. Maybe the first time you saw independent wrestling. Let's start from the beginning.
It was actually right up the road here. There used to be a place that sold trailers.
Here where?
In Pearl.
In Pearl,
on
Mississippi.
Highway 80. But they used to sell trailers, and it was kind of like a U. You know, you see trailers, and there was like the office. And the only name I can remember on the whole damn thing was Mr. Nasty. And I was like, okay, cool. We saw it on a poster at Mazzia's.
Yeah.
So middle of the day, summer, hotter than pits of hell, humidity all get out. But I remember there was a guy, big fat dude. Now, I ain't talking about like husky, fat. He did the Jericho moonsault.
Wow.
Off the metal rope. And I was like, hell, I was hooked, man. But like this really bad wrestling show, Mr. Nasty was trying to be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mr. Nasty.
At the end of the show, I went and talked to Mr. Nasty. He was training. Guess how much he wanted to train you? See if you can come close.
I'm gonna say 3,500.
No, not quite that high. 2,000.
2,000.
Up front.
Wow.
Up front.
Yeah, I have a feeling you would have lost that.
Yeah, I do too. But let's just say I was like, I walked out of going. I was like, he did a fake Stone Cold, and he was pay me to pay him $2,000. Oh, crap.
I'll tell you. First independent wrestling show I ever went to, it was actually in McGee, Mississippi, and it was not the Battle Zone.
Really?
It was a few years before I discovered the Battle Zone, maybe 5 or 6 years. I mean, I'm horrible with time. So, but it was at the National Guard Armory, and Junkyard Dog was there. Mm-hmm. That was kind of how everybody knew, found out about it or whatever. And I remember JYD. I took a picture with him, and he had like a trucker's cap on, big T-shirt, and didn't look like the Junkyard Dog that you remembered. He looked like I used to be famous Junkyard Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was two fat guys again with fat guys, but they were in all pink, and they called themselves like the Flamingos or something.
Uh-huh.
And they stood out more than anybody else. And I don't remember being like, oh, this is garbage. Like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I remember going like, well, this is awesome. It's wrestling. So. But the Flamingos, I've never seen them again.
Well, let me ask you this. Was your fat guys wearing T-shirts?
No, these were pink singlets.
That one wasn't either. He wore a singlet.
Yep.
And that's the only thing
pink singlets, and if I remember, they had like pink hats.
Like, I remember nobody on that show wearing a T-shirt.
Well, JYD had a T-shirt on.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I ain't even sure if he had tights. I think maybe he had like jogging pants and a T-shirt on and a old.
So he kind of looked like Hacksaw did with the shorts.
No, at least Hacksaw took his shirt off.
Okay.
I mean, he looked like I used to be famous, and now I'm broke. That's what and I don't know. He might have been a millionaire and been like, I don't know, but it was. I ain't gonna say it was a letdown because first time I ever saw independent. I didn't know independent wrestling was a thing.
Yeah.
It was a wrestling. So, and it was a name I remember. So, but from there, like my fandom kind of grew. So. And eventually, I heard about a place called NWA Battle Zone, and I had drove past it several times, but I didn't know it was wrestling. Mm-hmm. We thought it was like paintball or laser tag or something.
Well, that building I can understand.
Yeah, I mean, in the building, it's flames on the building, and
ain't no more, but
and it was the Battle Zone, NWA Battle Zone, and I had no idea what the Battle Zone was, but I was sure it wasn't wrestling. So, but. Somehow somebody had said, oh yeah, like my uncle, he had a farm, and he was like, yeah, such and such that worked for me, yeah, he went up there and they had an open challenge, and he got in the ring and wrestled, and I'm like, wrestled? What are you talking about? And he said, yeah, they have wrestling up there, and I'm like, oh, I'm hooked, let's go. Wow. And I walked in, and I was amazed. I mean, I might as well be walking to Madison Square Garden or something. It was unbelievable, and it was awesome.
Well, mine went a little bit different route. After seeing that show, I guess maybe a year, two passed, I kept seeing little independent shows, and it was actually Danny running like rodeos and places
Yeah.
like that, and he was using a Viscera.
Yep.
Before he was Viscera, he was Mabel.
Yeah, King maybe.
And I would see these shows every once in a while, and I'd go to them. I guess another half year passed, and I was working at a chicken place loading frozen chickens, and I got huge. It's probably the best shape I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And I would still hang out at the game room. I was young. I was in my 20s, early 20s. And Marcel Berry, you know him. I was out there one day, and I was just sitting there like this. And he goes, Jesus, he goes, Shay, you've gotten huge. He goes, you ever thought about being a wrestler? And I said, yeah. I said, but nowhere around here to really do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he's like, well, come with me tomorrow, and we'll go to Wrestle for Christ. I'll show you some meat. Let you.
So
meet
how
some
did you meet
guys."
Marcel?
I'd known Marcel from school.
Oh,
I went
really?
to school with him. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Did not know that.
yeah, we went to school together.
Oh, that's cool.
But in the game room, he always
Yeah.
went to the game room. And I went the next day and went with him, and we started. They showed me like arm drags, hip top. Like I'm learning moves for him, learning bumps. I don't know what the hell a bump was. And seriously, like I learned the arm drag and the
You
body
do
slam.
drugs.
Because I picked up this guy and I body slammed him. I'm not knowing I'm supposed to protect this guy. They didn't tell me nothing. They just showed me how to do it. And I slammed him, so he's like, oh, and he's
Yeah.
like, for F's sake. And we're in a church, and I'm
Forever's
like,
sake.
yeah, that ain't what he said. But he's like, no, dude. He's like, when you get down there, loosened it up. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I said, well, y'all didn't tell me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to train with them, and because I was impressed with what they were doing. That guy named Big Mike, he started showing me some of the bumps. But they wouldn't practice. I couldn't get them to come practice. And I met Roosevelt about this time, and we would go out there with just the ring.
Yeah.
I've told you this. And but again, we didn't know what we was doing. We literally wrote down names of moves we saw on TV, and we're figuring out how to do them ourselves.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, there's got to be wrestling in Mississippi if Danny's running these wrestling shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up wrestling in Mississippi, and the only thing that come up was NWA Battle Zone.
Was it?
So, and the very first show I went to, I actually didn't talk to Marvin. I talked to Saxton.
Mm-hmm.
But Saxton said you had to come to Louisiana with him to train. And I was like,
Right.
dude, I can't. I said, that's just too daggone far. He said, well, come back here. He said, and talk to Marvin. And that's when I talked to Brother Love and Danny and all them.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of, I guess my into training was through you.
Well, Roosevelt went with me the next day, and we gave him a practice match, and they were impressed with what we knew.
So Roosevelt was at the Wrestling for Christ?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I met him. But he was impressed with how much we knew just because we knew it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I said, we learned some. I was like, but we're not being taught right.
Right.
And you couldn't get them to train. That's what drove me nuts. Me and Roosevelt was out there. It'd be the dead of winter, freaking 1 degree outside. My roommate was recording the stuff. I wish I had the videos, but like he was just so impressed that we was out there. He's freezing his butt off in the back of a truck, recording us with a camera as we're dropping each other on our dad blame head. And I got frost splashed 18 times one time just to get Roosevelt to get it the right way. It hurt
that's
so
fun.
bad.
I bet.
But
Yeah, like, so I guess when I discovered Battle Zone, you were a security guard at the time.
I started wrestling shortly after I met you.
Right. And,
Because I wrestled that stunt guy, remember? The one that Saxon beat the mess out of with a belt.
yeah. The Hollywood Hank. Hollywood Hank.
No, it wasn't Hank.
It wasn't Hank?
No.
No, it was
I never wrestled
Fabian.
Hank. Yeah, Fabian.
Fabian
yes.
something, yeah. But yeah, so, and you were like, hey, we got this Wrestling for Christ thing. So we went out there, and I would work out with you and Jimmy V, and I think Road May came one time. But we literally had to, like, tote the ring piece by piece because none of us had a truck.
Yeah.
And so we toted it like 150 yards to be able to set it up.
Maybe.
So, and then you had to then you had to play in the ring, so to speak, and do a bunch of stuff you don't know what you're doing, and then you get to take the ring back down and put it up, all while trying not to get, ate by the buffalo or whatever that was out there. So, because it was on like a ranch.
Yeah.
It was like buffaloes and cows and all that kind of
There were
crap.
buffalo that literally roamed the area.
Mm-hmm. So,
And I thought they were tame the whole time.
they would watch where you step.
They weren't.
So yeah, buffalo wrestling,
More or less.
But yeah, that's how. And like I say, through that, you got me in with Battle Zone, and I just wanted to hang out. Like, I don't know if I ever even wanted to be a wrestler as much as I just wanted to be a part of wrestling, and I still say that. Like, I'm just as happy, if I'm in the main event or if I'm the guy selling popcorn. I just want to be around it, man. I love it. So how was training? You said, okay, you practiced some with the guys for Wrestling for Christ, but really didn't learn anything. Talked to Saxon, Brother Love. He was with Brother Love. And then how'd that go from there?
Well, let's see if I can figure out how that went. The first person I ever trained with was Marvin's teacher, the one that did the Mr. Wrestling gimmick. John something.
Okay.
But first time he grabbed me, he said, give me a collar and elbow tie up. I don't know what we're going from here. That's all I know. Collar and elbow tie up, do it. He grabbed me, I go flying across the room. I said, what the hell just happened? He gave me an arm drag.
Yeah.
But like, he's legit shooting and showing me, he goes, what you think is fake is real.
Right.
And from there, he told me, he said, Marvin told me that y'all fixing to start training. I said, yes, sir. And he said, see, y'all doing like my first match ever was a tag match right up here. Mm-hmm. And it was terrible. God freaking awful. But anyway, it was just, that's where it got started, was John Horton. That was his name, John Horton.
Yeah.
Told me to go talk to Marvin, and Marvin more or less went through the training regimen with starting bumping and learn a little bit of chain, then arm drag, hip toss, body slam. Stuff I should have already learned before I was ever in the ring instead of having full freaking matches.
Yeah. I know when I first came out with you guys, I knew how to do flip bump. Couldn't do a back bump, handstand, but I knew how to do flip bump. And it's because I had built a ring on the farm. We had a farm. We were doing the Briscoe Brothers things before. It was cool. So we were chicken farmers. And I built a ring. I actually went and tore down a house to get material to build a ring, like it was an old house. And so I built the ring, had like water hoses for ropes or whatever. And now we were not backyard wrestlers. Like, we just wanted to be wrestlers. Like, we didn't do nothing stupid.
I did softcore.
Yeah, we were definitely softcore. But I learned how to bump on a mattress, in the ring. I mean, we had a ring, wood floor, but then had a mattress because I didn't know how to get anything to make it soft, So as far as I knew, it wasn't nothing on there. It was just wood that wrestlers were bumping on. So
it wasn't much, depending on what kind of ring you had.
So I didn't have, but I knew that hurt. So we got a mattress and I taught myself to flip bump, basically watching Tough Enough.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I mean, I kind of had an idea how running the ropes worked. I guess I could run them, not perfectly anyway, because we ran them on water hose, and you go like 6 feet back, like your feet barely was still on the ring, but the whole body was way out there, And in theory, if you look back on, you probably, like, if you'd weighed 10 more pounds, you probably would have broke the ropes and landed out in the bushes, But so when I met you guys and got in there, and I can remember like taking 500 FUs from Jimmy V to try to learn how to land on my feet so he could give me a clothesline or something. But it's fun times, but then, like I said, went to the Battle Zone and was a fan, and you got me in to be able to run camera.
Mm-hmm. And then we needed a cameraman that night. We had nobody.
And from there, like, I learned about the training, and I just simply went to training because you were going. Like, it wasn't. Had you not been trained, if you just been a security guard, I'd probably never been more than a cameraman. So.
And you think about it, we'd always show up early, and nobody else. We'd be there 2 hours early.
Oh yeah, I remember. Like, well, it wasn't that we'd get there early. We'd get there on time, and our trainers would get there 3 or 4 hours late.
And then we couldn't get them to
train. And then be like, okay, go give us 10 of each bump, and then we're going to go play wiffle ball, or we're going to go to the movies.
Football.
Baseball.
Bowling.
Yeah, I went bowling for anger management. Went to the movies to learn how to work a crowd. Well, I don't know what movies y'all go to, but normally you shut up when you're in the movie theater. So, but it was fun times, man. And from there, had a first match at Wrestling for Christ. Me and you tagged against Justin Matthews and Big John.
Yep.
And I don't know Big John other than Big John.
That's the only way I ever knew
him. But he was a big dude.
Huge.
And I think the only offensive move I got, I clotheslined Big John and he bumped. So it was like 150-pound me and 6'7", 400-pound Big John, and I bumped him. Thought it was great, and I yay! And I turned around and he killed me. So
That's right. And you remember why he took the bump, right?
he had to fart. So thankfully that he had to poot, that I got to bump him. So, and then that was that morning at a church over in Jackson, Mississippi. And from there, the Battle Zone had a show in Raleigh. So I left there and went to Raleigh and had my second match against Jesse Dalton.
Chan Lee.
I was Chan Lee. I had some Umbros on. Remember when Umbros were cool?
Yes, I do.
I had some Umbros on and a
Dude.
and a Japanese wrestling mask. And Chan Lee was born, you know. So, and from there, and I don't remember much more after this, you know, like as far as the order. But from there, I had my third match and fourth match in Louisiana against Rodney Mack, where I was the fool that answered the white boy challenge.
Because I was too big.
Yeah, you were too big.
Somehow.
You know, Rodney's, 7'10" and looks like a house.
Like, I saw this monster. I'm like, how the hell am I too big for this guy?
So, lucky for me, I didn't die.
Yeah, true. You got knocked unconscious.
Yes, with a slap. But that's my crowning moment in wrestling. It's like I got knocked out by a slap. So that's what I done in my career.
My favorite part of that, though, is when we went to Louisiana and X-Pac tried to steal your cheap kick pads.
Yes.
Like $5 kick pads.
Those Hibbett Sports specials. So, yeah, that's when he's, looking like a backyarder for sure. Because he had my gear on. And I offered my volleyball knee pads to D'Lo because for some reason D'Lo lost. He's like, I will not wear those out. I was like, well, this is I'm out of luck, bro. So.
I remember, like, that ring was so hard and everybody was complaining about it because it was made out of railroad.
Yeah, railroad, like, crossings or something.
Yeah, it's literally the track the railroads run on.
Yeah.
I mean, it broke the damn two-wheeler. We had to put the ring up.
It was tough and had like one layer of carpet on. I don't even think it had any carpet pad. I think it just had carpet because Jesse Dalton was going to teach him a lesson, show him how we do it in the Indies. And D'Lo's missing freaking moonsaults off the top rope and going, man, that ring's soft. So showing them how we're doing it in the Indies and showing us that we're not.
Who was it said they blew their knee? Remember?
Was it Eric Watts?
May have been.
Yeah, I think it was Eric Watts.
Because some were talking about how soft it was. They were talking about that's the hardest damn thing I ever landed on in my life.
Yep. So, but it was fun, man. Like breaking in, it was different, man. Like I had so much respect breaking in because, like, I remember even as cameraman, like I was afraid to go into the locker room, and like even after I'd been running camera for probably a year, and then I started, I was training that whole time, and I just started doing a little bit of refereeing or whatever, like. No, I think I was just getting beat up.
You wrestling all the damn time. Hell, we had 100 matches.
But I'm just saying, even going into the locker room then, I was like, I was shut your mouth, open your ears.
Yeah.
I spoke to everybody sitting in the corner, and if I only talked when I was spoken to, So just wrestling's changed so much. And
let me ask you this: do you remember the very first person you really wrestled after? Because me and you wrestled. I bet it was 100 times.
Yeah, I mean.
But then they're like, the first person I ever wrestled beyond you was Toby.
Yeah.
And like we had a really good match, and I remember Brillo going, "Why ain't you and Robert been doing that?" I was like, "Cause he knows the hell's what he's doing. We don't know nothing." I was like, put us in there with people that know what's going on, and I can work my way around. I said, "You got two green guys going in there. We don't know that what I'm doing."
I remember, like, I showed up for a Battle Zone show, and Love didn't book me on the show. Mm-hmm. And it was like he's like I overheard him say, "Man, he's horrible," blah, blah, And it wasn't my fault I was horrible. Yeah. Nobody taught me, But I remember it hurt my feelings. I took my ball and went home, so to speak. So I didn't come around for a while. And so, no, I started refereeing. That's what happened. That's how I got into refereeing. I was like, okay, if I'm horrible, then let me become a ref. And I don't think anybody taught me how to ref. I think that I showed up. I think they did a show in Vicksburg.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And I showed up to ref.
I had to wrestle.
And,
I had to work.
Somebody didn't show up, and the Pharaoh was like, "Hey, I need somebody to wrestle. I'll wrestle you." And I was like, "Well, I don't have anything but these workout shorts other than my referee gear." And he's like, "Oh, that'd be great." He's like, "I got the perfect song for you." So he took me out to his car and he played "White and Nerdy" by Weird Al Yankovic. And I was like, that'd be great. I was like, I'll pull the shorts way up high, kind of do the Urkel thing. And I essentially just got beat up. So I guess, and I think I worked him 3 or 4 times. I guess he liked the character so much, and it was either that or all he got to do was beat me up, you know. So I mean, so yeah, I went back and I did that for a little while, and then through that character, I became, you know, tag team champion with Calvin Rose, and I don't remember who we beat, but I remember, like, you know, Calvin needed a partner, and they were like, use him. You know, he can get beat up, and you don't have to do nothing.
Yeah, it was kind of like the Mick Foley, Mikey Whipwreck thing.
Yep, absolutely. And then
I'm thinking y'all beat Monty and somebody.
It could have been. I honestly have no clue. And then I know I can remember working like O'Malley. I worked a bunch with O'Malley, and won the hardcore championship, which I did not want because I'm like, this is not me.
That was more or less a rib on you.
Well, what it was at that time I was talking about starting a company, you know, and it wasn't me starting a company. I was wanting to start a company for Battlezone to have another town. Like, I found a building and all that. And I think they thought, well, if he doesn't, you know, if he leaves or whatever, if we make him mad, he's got his own place or whatever, so they could give me the belt. And I mean, I brought like baby diapers and styrofoam cups, and, you know, I was like, I am scared to get hit hard with weapons. That's not my thing. Yeah. So,
but at the time, that's kind of what that place was getting on.
Yeah. They were full of hardcore matches. I mean, you know, hit them in the head and bleed.
Johnny Morton kind of started that.
Johnny Morton, hardcore kid Johnny Morton and Ron Horn. You know, they kind of brung it in. They were feuding with, you know, fighting with the Pharaoh, and Jesse Dalton was in there, and Cowboy Cody Mantell or something, and a few other guys. But yeah, the hardcore thing is what really got them off and running. You know, I mean, they were drawing good with wrestling, but that blood and guts is what people were coming for.
I mean, it was.
So
red makes green.
Billy Little, that. You know, those guys, they were there just bleeding everywhere. You know.
Because my actual second, we only did like a 3-match feud, me and Toby.
Yeah.
But our final feud match was actually a damn stretcher match.
Yeah. You've had 8 matches and now you're in a stretcher match.
I'm like, well, we had 3. I know it for a fact we had 3 matches.
Yeah, but you probably had 8 or 10
total.
Yeah,
you know? No, we just wasn't up with it, you know. But I remember them, well, why am I in a stretcher match?
Yeah.
And I remember the final move of the stretcher match was I got a guitar broke over my head.
That was probably why you were in a stretcher match, because they were going to kill you with a guitar.
They didn't kill me. So. Everybody knows they work with me. If you hit me, I'm hitting you back.
And I'm sure that wasn't a like, hey, we got this gimmick guitar that's going to break real easy. It's like, no, I found this at the garage sale, and we're going to hit him with it.
Because I remember when he hit me, it broke, but it's like hooked on my head, and I'm like, okay, I want to bump, but how do I bump without killing myself? So my bump was probably pretty weird.
Yeah, you probably sit on your butt.
No, I bumped backwards. It was just weird.
So,
like, there's some of those matches I wish I had tape of, just where I could see, like, what the hell was I thinking? How bad
you were. But yeah, so overall, that's kind of how we got started, huh?
More or less.
Yeah, awesome. So we went, you know, a little over 20 minutes. So anything you want to wrap it up with?
I got my last Life in a Headlock up.
Cameron Jackson. Yep, I gotta watch that one. I hadn't watched.
Check it out. It's decent. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And hopefully get some more this weekend if possible.
Yeah, awesome. So we got April 1st, which you may or may not see this before April 1st. But after that, we have April 29th in Bruce, Mississippi. May 13th, big show, Pat's Pride 4 is kind of our WrestleMania. Michael Elgin, John Davis headlining that. It's Pearl, Mississippi. May the 27th, Memorial Day weekend, that Saturday, Hattiesburg and Canton. Okay. 2 shows, doing it again this year. 2 shows, 2 towns, same time. And at June 3rd, back at the Hideaway. So that's kind of what we got coming up with Pro Wrestling Ego.
Sweet.
So till next time, later guys.
Damn, we really